The tragic odyssey of the brilliant boxer. In the ephemeral world of sporting glory, where talents flare like dazzling meteors, the story of Felix Verdejo Sanchez narrates a dizzying rise and thunderous fall. This Puerto Rican pugilist, once a rising star whose fists were like lightning bolts felling opponents, ultimately found himself vanquished by his own pernicious passions. His path, beginning in the humble quarters of San Juan, elevated him to Olympic heights at London 2012. Verdejo was a diamond shining among his country's most promising athletes. Titles and gold medals were prophesied for him, and his motivation and talent seemed to augur fantastic sporting heights. However, in 2021 the boxer's name again circulated worldwide media, but this time landing in the criminal chronicles section. This tale is one of youthful attachment blossoming into ruinous obsession and culminating in horrific tragedy. It also recounts how the author of 2014's Knockout of the Year, lauded by two-time Olympic champion Vasyl Lomachenko, nearly received a death sentence but was ultimately condemned to life imprisonment. Notably, despite incontrovertible evidence and his accomplice's confessions, the boxer himself refuses to this day to admit guilt. The star's ascent and fatal passion. Felix was born on May 19, 1993 into a large family in San Juan. From an early age he was enamored of baseball, but a humorous incident determined his future path. At 9 years old, after fighting with another boy, the future athlete's father advised him to don boxing gloves if he wanted to scuffle. Thereafter, Felix fell in love with boxing. At 16 he won the Junior Pan American Championships, and a year later his country's championship. In 2012 Verdejo reached the quarterfinals of the London Olympics, after which his brilliant professional career commenced. Of 29 bouts he scored 27 confident victories, and in 2014 his knockout of Sergio Villanueva was deemed that year's best. A year later Felix captured his first championship belt, the WBO Latino title, which he went on to defend 6 more times over 2 years. All who witnessed him fight had no doubt this young man would etch his name into boxing history. But there is another side to this story. Keishla Rodriguez, Felix's San Juan contemporary. An open and sociable girl, she dreamed of becoming a veterinarian and adored animals. Her closest friend was Sister Berelize, in whom she confided all her secrets. Keishla and Felix attended the same school and a romantic relationship blossomed between them in their youth. The fatal love triangle. At 18 the promising boxer, already an Olympian, began an affair with young schoolgirl and aspiring model Eliza Maria Santiago Sierra, then just 14 years old. Despite his serious relationship with Eliza, Felix, having become a boxing star basking in fame's glow, continued seeing his school friend Keishla. Keishla's sister Berelize and mother Keishla Rodriguez knew of this liaison and disapproved. The situation was highly ambiguous. On one hand, Eliza considered herself the athlete's one true love, preparing for marriage. On the other, Keishla knew her lover had a fiancé, yet he would not let her go. Deep down, the naive girl still hoped to be his one and only. In 2016 the boxer wed the 19-year-old Eliza. A few months after the wedding he was seriously injured in a motorcycle accident, hospitalized with head trauma. But Felix rapidly recovered and returned to the ring. In September 2019 he posted on social media a photo of pregnant Eliza, commenting, "Soon I'll meet my daddy's princess," and a month later announced the birth of daughter Miranda. Publicly he appeared a devoted family man, but secretly continued seeing Keishla, unable to let her go. The tragic finale. In 2020 Eliza discovered her husband's correspondence with mistresses including Keishla. She erupted, ejecting him from home and threatening divorce and a ban on seeing his daughter. For a time Felix indeed ceased contact with Rodriguez, but soon the clandestine trysts resumed. In April 2021 Keishla learned she was pregnant. On April 29 Felix arranged to meet Keishla to discuss her pregnancy. After conversing with her lover, Keishla phoned her sister and revealed everything. Berenice was troubled, knowing of Felix's threats, but could not dissuade her sister from the fateful rendezvous. At the appointed time, Keishla arrived for the tryst in her Kia Forte. Felix drove up in a pickup truck, his accomplice Louis concealed in back. Keishla showed Felix the positive pregnancy tests, but he again insisted on an abortion. A vicious quarrel ensued, during which Felix struck Keishla's head, then injected her with a large narcotic dose. Together with Louis they bound Keishla, affixed her to a concrete block, covered her with a tarp, and transported her to a bridge over the San Jose Lagoon. Ascertaining no one was nearby, the perpetrators cast the still-living Keishla into the water, then fired upon her with firearms to leave her no chance of survival. Their grisly deed complete, they departed for home. The investigation and trial. Keishla's co-workers raised the first alarm when she failed to appear at work. Her sister Berenice, finding only hungry pets at home, realized the unthinkable had occurred. She alerted police about her suspicions and threats against her sister. Keishla's body was soon recovered from the lagoon. When her relationship with the famous boxer and pregnancy became known, the case drew widespread publicity. Felix was arrested but denied involvement despite overwhelming evidence, his accomplice's testimony, surveillance footage, Keishla's traces in his vehicle, and the firearm used to shoot her. Keishla was laid to rest on May 8 in a white carriage strewn with flower petals. Many decried the crime and called for the culprit's punishment. Felix was charged with kidnapping, killing a pregnant woman and her unborn child, capital crimes. But Keishla's relatives sought a life sentence so the killer would suffer lifelong incarceration. At the virtual 2021 spring trial, the court, relying chiefly on Louis's testimony, found the crime was committed by a group with premeditation and particular cruelty toward a pregnant woman. Despite Felix's denials, he was sentenced to life in prison.